Good morning, everyone. This is Kevin Chandler here at the department. We're going to go ahead and get started with our June Assessment and Accountability webinar. To get things started, Carlin cannot be here with us today. She is attending a state board meeting, but of course sends her warmest regards. As many of you have heard, Superintendent Ybarra has named Carlin her new Director of Communications. This transition is going to occur the next couple of weeks. So if you have any kind of questions or congratulatory sentiments, please go ahead and continue sending those to Carlin as this transition continues. All right, a couple of housekeeping norms to get started. Of course, if you have any kind of questions, please submit those in the question box. Taylor is managing that for us, and she'll let us know as those questions come up. The PowerPoint slides are available as the PDF documents that are attached to this webinar. And of course, this presentation is being recorded and will be posted a couple of days after today. All right, to get things started, I'm going to talk about the Fall 2020 Roadshow. The Fall 2020 Roadshow is not going to be on the road, but instead going to be online. So here at the department, we're working on creative ways to reach you with the PD that you need. So instead of having these lengthy breakout sessions where we kind of sit and get information, we're working on different vignettes or modules that are going to give you the information that you need when you need it. As we're going through some of the program updates here today, we're going to preview some of the vignettes or modules that we're working on. The first one that we'd like to tout is the overview of the Idaho Comprehensive Assessment System. That's kind of like a trailer that we have that is going to advertise all of the different assessments that we have here in the state of Idaho.
Excellent. Okay, so we switched to my computer audio, so that seems to be working better. Excellent. All right, so let's continue with the computer audio. All right, so again, just to reiterate, our Fall 2020 Roadshow. Again, we're working on vignettes that we're going to be posting online, and these are going to be creative ways to reach you with the PD that you need. They're going to be timely, engaging, rather than kind of a sit and get breakout session that we usually do. During today's presentation, we will be previewing the vignettes or the modules we have upcoming for the fall. And the first one, again, that I like to tout is the overview of the Idaho Comprehensive Assessment System. That will be covering all the different assessments that we have available in the state of Idaho. So that is something to look forward to for the fall. Something else to look forward to are going to be our 2021 webinars. Season starts on September 9th with new content published every second Wednesday of every month, starting promptly at 10 a.m. Mountain. So go ahead and add those to your calendars and register for those webinars using the link below. All right, any other questions, comments? We're good to go?
Nope, we have good sound.
Excellent. All right, so we got it on my computer here, so make sure everybody uses their teacher voice. All right, so I'm going to throw it over to Whitman. He has our accountability update for us.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. So first, we wanted to start by letting you know about some important updates for the school report card, which, as always, you can find at idahoschools.org. So as required under ESSA, we are adding some new information on per pupil expenditures, and that'll be at the state, district, and school level. And I wanted to let you know how that measure is going to be explained on the report card. So I apologize in advance. I'm going to read this, but I want to get it exactly right, just so you know what this measure will be. So Idaho's per pupil expenditures are calculated by dividing current expenditures by the total student enrollment. Current expenditures are comprised of expenditures for the day-to-day operations of schools, including, but not limited to, expenditures for instruction, administration, instructional support, and operation and maintenance of facilities. And again, we're going to show those for state, local, and federal breakdowns. So the report card is also going to add a little bit of context there, so describing what factors might affect per pupil expenditures, such as the demographic makeup of students, so that there's some context there for the users. And this is going to be separate from the standard annual updates that we do to the report card. Those are going to occur a little bit later in the year, and only for the items where we actually have data. So you can look forward to that in August, and that'll have student demographics and our English learner performance, since that assessment window closed prior to the COVID-19 issues. And so those report card updates are a perfect segue into our next topic. we wanted to talk a little bit about our accountability virtual fall 2020 roadshow items. So we have a few modules that we'll present on that topic, and we're going to plan on doing this in July and August so that it is relevant for those updates as they get posted. So we'll have vignettes on what data we won't report, what data we will report, and how school identification is going to work this year based on the waivers that we've received from the U.S. Department of Education. Looking ahead to December, we also anticipate having some training modules that address how we're going to respond to the disruptions in the accountability data going forward. So we'll present vignettes on our adjustments to our metrics and any of our identification plans for 2021 and beyond. And finally, while I'm talking about the Fall 2020 Virtual Roadshow, also wanted to mention that we will have some training modules on the engagement surveys to supplement our existing resources. So in November, we'll have some modules on the rostering process for the student survey, and then some guidance on how to administer the student, parent, and staff surveys. We're going to have other resources on using the survey data, but that's going to be later in the year after the Fall 2020 kind of roadshow time. Now I'm going to turn it over to Ayaka for all things graduation.
Hi everyone, hope you can hear me. I'm standing 6 feet away from Kevin Chandler in the same room. So this is just a reminder that the cohort graduation rate preview application is still open all year long, despite numerous changes to the statewide assessment and accountability programs. The June IC end of year file is due on the 19th. Please make sure to visit the preview application to validate the list of graduates. Because the application allows you to submit transfer documentation, you can start the appeals process at any time during the school year. Transfer students with no documentation will be considered non-graduates per the federal guidance until the SDE reviews the supporting documentation submitted in the application. And I have received several questions regarding graduation requirements for the class of 2021. We'd like to clarify these requirements here as we like schools and students to have the correct expectation going into the 2020-2021 school year. For the record, this is as of today, and the requirements are subject to change. At the March 23rd special meeting, the Board of Education voted to make a possible rulemaking exemption from the 2021 college entrance exam grad requirement. The exemption has not been finalized by the State Board of Education, and there has not been any discussion of waiving the senior project for the class of 2021. That means both requirements have not been waived. Schools should at least register those seniors who do not graduate and are re-enrolling in the 2020-2021 school year for the full SAT if they have not had a chance to participate in the SAT school day. Carlin is getting more clarification on the senior project from the State Board of Education staff at the board meeting today. And finally, our virtual fall 2020 roadshow will include an overview of graduation rate to help you understand how it is being calculated and how the appeals process work. Any questions?
Excellent. Thank you guys very much. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Paul, and he will take us through the NAEP update.
All right, I'm checking in from my home office, so I should sound totally different from everyone else. Hello, Idaho. So NAEP sampling works like this. Using CCD data from the previous year, the National Center of Education Statistics will select schools based on their demographic factors. This is not a random selection. The larger the school, the more likely it will be selected for NAEP. The more demographically diverse the school, the more likely it will be selected for NAEP. Once this selection happens, the SDE is given access to the schools selected, and we will then let LEAs know about their schools selected. I'm expecting to be informed soon so we can let superintendents and LEA test directors know. Once demographics are put together, then in the fall, I submit current student lists to NCES to perform a sampling of students. Selected schools are then blended together to form a long list ordered by Idaho demographics. White students in Idaho, Hispanic students in Idaho, students who are on IEPs in Idaho, etc. Finally, random selection happens. NCES does it this way to limit the number of schools needed for a representative sample in Idaho. This also makes it so the score results are as close as possible to if we took a census rather than a sample. Fewer students, reliable score. NAEP was going to select fewer students this year, but due to national changes to schools and general instability, they chose to keep selection methods stable. This will ensure the most accurate results reporting in a NAEP year that we expect score changes. Let me know if you guys have any questions.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much, Paul. Okay, I'm going to throw it over to Andrew with our ELPA update.
All right, good morning, everyone. Andrew Bennett here to give you some updates and reminders. An exit date of June 30th will be assigned in ELMS to students who meet the exit criteria on the last test or who have met the exit criteria. Students' L status will be updated in ELMS on July 1st, 2020 to reflect scores received on the 2019-2020 Access Administration. Starting on June 25th, 2020, the WIDA AMS system will undergo an update to the layout and navigation of the website. The updates will include changes to the Central Office Services portion of the system, which is the interface that allows districts to configure the test delivery components within their district. Data Recognition Corporation has already put out a 30-minute webinar that reviews the ensuing enhancements. The webinar can be accessed by going to the WIDA Secure Portal download library or by selecting the link provided in the slide. LEAs can also review the changes in detail by referencing the WIDA AMS user guide and the Central Office Services Technology user guide when it is made available on June 25th. Please note that all previous work done for district configurations will be retained. All right, so the screener scoring for the 2019-2020 school year will end on June 25th. I am encouraging you to address any outstanding speaking or writing student item responses prior to this date. WIDA screeners given after June 25th will be recorded under the Screener Idaho 2020-2021 heading. All right, Fall Roadshow. Two main topics will be covered during this year's Fall Roadshow and will be made available in August to get districts amped for another successful year. The first topic covers L identification process and will take the user through key items they need to know about to successfully screen and identify a new English learner. And the second topic will cover important dates and DTC actions that will need to be performed throughout the year. So be looking for that. I am excited to create engaging vignettes and modules. All right, so this year, Idaho will be providing 8 self-paced e-workshops, which can be accessed anytime between September 1st, 2020 and August 31st, 2021. The self-paced e-workshops guide individuals or professional learning communities through a series of topics that offer relevant strategies for teachers who have L's within their classroom. Some of the topics that will be covered are the WIDA writing rubric, developing language for learning in mathematics, and doing and talking STEM. So please check those out in the e-learning tile in the WIDA Secure Portal once they are made available. And this fall, the SDE will be offering English learner engagement and understanding the WIDA rubric 1 professional development credit through NNU. This course prepares grade 1 through 12 educators to effectively use the WIDA writing rubric to plan, apply, and evaluate students' written language use. Educators will apply WIDA's writing rubric to analyze their students' language use at the discourse, sentence, and word phrase level as to identify and provide future targeted instruction around writing. Participants will become familiar with best practices and strategies within their classroom that respond to the social and emotional needs of English learners. So please tell your colleagues about that class, and I look forward to seeing you there. Okay, on May 18th, 2020, the U.S. Department of Education put out a fact sheet outlining states' responsibilities to English learners and their parents during the extended school closures, and in some cases, the move to remote learning due to the national emergency caused by the novel coronavirus. It is intended to provide additional information about requirements in the Elementary and Secondary Education Act and other federal laws related to ELS in light of the COVID crisis and this specific situation. The The fact sheet covers entrance requirements, providing services to ELs, use of Title III funds, exit procedures, and the responsibilities we have to the parents of ELs. And lastly, mark your calendars. The 2020-2021 English Language Proficiency Assessment will open on January 25th, 2021, and will end on March 5th, 2021. And also, actually, a quick reminder decided today, the Access Appeals window has been extended until Thursday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Please make sure to submit any Access Appeals by this deadline. Also, be sure to update any student information that supports the appeals into the appropriate system, such as ELMS. Are there any questions?
Yes. Can you please remind everyone which certifications are needed this year, screener or access, for those administering those tests?
Yes, great question. This year, everyone will need to recertify for the Access Test Administration. However, it is always encouraged to review the test administration procedures for the screener. And like always, if you are a new test administrator, you will need to certify for both the screener and the access test.
Thank you. That is it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Andrew. Next up, we have Karen with our special education update.
Thank you, Kevin. Just a couple slides for you today. First of all, remember that next spring for our test administration, the alternate assessments for ELA and literacy, and math will be computer adaptive. It's an embedded field test, just like what we were going to do this year. And science, goodbye to portfolio, goodbye to IPASS. It will be an independent field test, and it will measure students' achievement against the extended content standards adopted July of 2019. And so the alternate assessment and accessibility roadshow vignettes topics that will be coming up in the fall. So there'll be a walk through the new science extended content standards for teachers, but there's also going to be a series on assessment accessibility. So there'll be a couple of modules that are connected to all assessments, the supports and accommodations decision-making process, and there's going to be a guidance document that accompanies that that's right now making its way around with edits. Then also there'll be a quick vignette about a student's accessibility rights and being sure that the right student gets the right accommodations on the right test. And then there'll be 4 sessions that break down the information for ISAT in the usability, accessibility, accommodations guidelines. And then I'll be talking about the alternate assessment practice tests. We might have a different option than what we used from South Carolina last year. I can't say yet exactly what that will be, but I'll be doing that. So that's what's going to be in the fall, but there'll be other alternate assessment roadshow topics that will come later in the year so that it's in time for when you need. Questions?
We have nothing for alternate assessment, but we did want to be reminded, Andrew, what was the extended date for the access appeals?
Yeah, great question. Extended time goes through Thursday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So you have 2 extra days to complete all appeals, and then we will be reviewing them. So please call me if you have any questions regarding those.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Karen and Andrew. Next up is me. I have a couple of science updates. First up, I want to tout the Fall 2020 Roadshow vignettes that I'm working on. First up, modeling the new Idaho Science Standards. Then what's up with the 2021 Science ISAT. Then, of course, fun with science interims. And, of course, everyone's favorite, how can I use the reporting system to access performance data on a science interim to measure student mastery of the new science standards and improve instruction? I'm still working on the title for that one. But yes, lots of exciting vignettes coming up for the Science ISAT, so be on the lookout for those. Speaking of the plan for the Science ISAT, because we were not able to administer an independent field test this year, what we're planning on doing is moving that independent field test to next year. That, of course, is pending a conversation with USDOE, but if they approve that particular move, of course, we're not going to have any scores or individual student reports for that independent field test. That means then in 21-22, we will have our operational field test. During that summer, we will have achievement standard setting. We'll be able to report scores and, of course, generate ISRs. Don't worry, the Science ISAT interims will be back in the fall of 2020. I just took those down temporarily, but those will be returning in the fall of 2020, so you will be able to access those either through the TA app or AVA. The Science ISAT sample test, of course, if you're getting bored over the summer and want to log in and check out some of those items if you haven't already, those will be available now and, of course, during the summer. And then, of course, something I'm really excited about are the Idaho Science item specifications. Those are just about done and ready to be posted on the portal and our website. Those are documents that professional test developers use to create those clusters and standalones that will appear on the Science ISAT. We're going to have one for each grade band, and those are going to be available, like I said, very soon. Any science questions? All right, I'm going to throw it over to Elena now, and she will take us through our ISAT update.
Great. Good morning, everyone. A few things to know regarding our ISAT comprehensive system. We are asking for your feedback. You will find a link to an ISAT portal survey. We would like your feedback from testing coordinators, school assessment coordinators, TAs, teachers, proctors, even parents and students. The survey should only take 7 to 10 minutes to complete, and we would ask that you complete it by June 30th. If you have questions or run into any problems with the survey, contact the help desk and they will assist. A reminder about our new tools for teachers that will launch on June 16th. You see the website here if you want to visit and check out the preview, and grand opening then will be in fall 2020, so I encourage you this summer to check that out. ISAT Roadshow, thinking about those virtual professional developed vignettes that you'll have access to. We'll have vignettes on how to prepare and make a task you need to complete, transitioning from the digital library to tools for teachers like I just shared, vignettes about the different types of interims and their different purposes, how you might use them. And then a big one will be transitioning from our online reporting system to our reporting system. There'll be many more in addition to that as well. And thinking ahead to fall, remember to share, as I mentioned previously, that Tools for Teachers is replacing the digital library that launches June 16th. Also know that Tide users are cleared and must be reloaded in August. Watch for a portal announcement for the Tide launch date in the fall. And a reminder again from the previous slide that our online reporting system, ORS, that data will migrate into reporting, formerly known as Airways reporting, in fall 2020. Another big announcement, AIR is now CAI. Cambium Assessment is the new name for our test vendor. We have the same team, but we will have new ISAT portal URLs. User guides and quick guides will be updated. System names will be changing. You'll see the new logo. And help desk email addresses will change. So we want you to know that this pertains to our ISAT, ELA, and literacy, math, science, and alternate assessment. You'll get an email as well as see an announcement on the portal. The transition from AIR to Cambium Assessment will be completed June 15th, so very soon. Questions about ISAT?
Excellent. All right. Thank you for that update, Elena. I'm going to let you keep going with the Idaho Reading Indicator update.
All right, let's talk about IRI. May IRI data, as a reminder to everyone, will not be used for accountability. Districts who did administer the IRI can use that data for instructional purposes. What you need to know about iStation is that the online instruction will remain active for all K-5 students through July, so that'll be open through July 31st. Also be on the lookout for an updated test administration manual that is due to be released in late July. You're going to want to review that document and plan to train all of your IRI proctors prior to the fall administration. There will be new guidance in that document for assessing students who are deaf and hard of hearing, as well as blind and visually impaired. We're also putting together some additional training for teachers of the visually impaired that will happen in August, so watch for emails regarding that. IRI Fall Roadshow. Here's your virtual professional development vignettes and a peek into what you can expect for IRI. There'll be vignettes that highlight the updated TAM. We will have information about IRI and the accessibility features, as well as how modeling can help support administration and how teachers can tap into that. Want you to know, as you think about IRI in the fall, that current iStation rosters will be archived automatically when new rosters are loaded. So if you have students using iStation through July, please don't roster your 2020-21 students, as the system will have issues with that. I would encourage you to roster for 2020-2021 beginning August 1st. Fall rosters, now we're going to require date of birth as a populated field, so be sure that you put that in your spreadsheets, but prior to your upload. Fall IRI testing window is going to open on the 10th of August and run through the 25th of September. A reminder that I will say again and again and again in the fall, please choose either or September for your IRI and administer within 1 month, because our norms do change from month to month. And what to look forward to as far as IRI PD. For new teachers, iStation is putting together a series of online videos that will be accessible behind the iStation login for teachers brand new to IRI and iStation. For experienced teachers, we will once again be offering our online IRI mini-series through Edmodo. And for administrators, we're looking at putting together 2 webinar presentations that will focus on data analysis and some of the new features that we will be launching in winter of 2020. You'll get sign-up information for those in August.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Elena. All right, back over to Ayaka for our college entrance exams update.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm back. For the PSAT SAT Fall 2020 Roadshow, the College Board and I are planning to offer the virtual training to cover the following areas. As always, we'll cover the portals and resources available to schools. In the past, there was one giant presentation for the coordinators, and it was so difficult for me as a newbie to search for topics. I've asked the College Board to create vignettes instead. And one of our biggest concerns this year is testing with COVID-19, and so we'll discuss test administration and policy updates. The College Board is also reaching out to some schools to create peer discussions and presentations. Please let us know if you're interested in presenting to other schools how you use the College Board resources, or if you have any other college entrance exam resources you'd like to share. Morgan sent a school-specific pre-filled URL to College Board intake form last Wednesday. Some schools have so far told us they did not receive the email. The email may have been filtered by your firewall. Please click on the link above to access the intake form if you have not received an email from Morgan. Intake form is used to collect and validate contact information and testing schedule. We understand COVID-19 is a concern for all of us. Your plan may change in the future. However, please complete the form for the best case scenario. The College Board is working on the policy changes to address COVID-19 concerns. Please know you may be asked to provide more space and staff to safely administer testing. And please submit the form by Friday, June 19th, 2020. I have updated website, and public-facing college entrance exam website has been updated and is now available on our website. Please take a look and let me know if you have any suggestions. The coordinator and school-facing page is coming soon. And I was hoping that the College Board had a chance to release the access code by now, but they're still working on it. So please do not send an email to College Board saying that you haven't received it, because they haven't released it yet. But the access code is being released today, so you should receive the email soon from the College Board. The access code is school-specific, and it used to order testing materials for the PSAT and SAT fall school day. The College Board is offering free premium access to the Career Finder until the end of July to support students during this uncertain times. Career Finder is available to all students with a College Board account, and it allows students to explore different careers and receive personalized recommendations based on their PSAT or SAT results. The premium version allows students to explore jobs in demand in their area, estimate future expenses, and much more. Schools do not have to do anything to activate the premium version other than informing students that it is available. And this is just a reminder that if you still have boxes from the College Board sit in your office, please take a look at this table. Please return the Securitas booklets to the College Board using the enclosed return label as soon as possible. Pre-ID labels or anything with students' information must be securely destroyed. Any other materials, including answer sheets, manuals, and posters, can be discarded or recycled. And lastly, here's testing dates reminder for the school year 2020-2021. It is your school's responsibility to coordinate the testing dates that work the best for you. Please fill out the intake form and let us know what your school's testing schedule is going to be. The October SAT school day is for the upcoming seniors only. If any of your seniors wanted to take the SAT prior to the October SAT school day, they must sign up on their own for the August or September National Test Day. The state will not offer vouchers to those students. However, schools can provide fee waivers to eligible students. Any questions?
There are no questions for college entrance exams, but we did get a follow-up question for ISAT. Are TIDE users or students being cleared for both? If TIDE users are being cleared, that's new this year, correct?
No. TIDE as a system clears out all school users on an annual basis, and that upload has to be done fresh every single fall. Students are also rostered into TIDE, so you can expect in August to need to roster school users as well as students.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, just one more reminder that the new season of our webinar starts on September 9th at 10 a.m. Go ahead and click on the link there to register for those upcoming webinars. Before we sign off, any final questions?
Yes. Ayaka, what is the registration deadline for the SAT in October?
That will be mid-September.
Mid-September, perfect. And then Kelly Glenn asks, will the STE make sure the upcoming vignettes do not conflict with one another?
Yes, that is one of the checks that we're going to make while we're reviewing and creating that product to make sure that those vignettes do not conflict with one another. Excellent. Well, thank you all for joining us for our webinar today. We really appreciate it. Again, look forward to the vignettes that are coming out this fall, and then also register for the new season of our webinars coming up in September. Thank you guys so much, and have a great day.